Well, everyone, let's go take the 2025 Mercedes CLE 53 AMG for a drive. If you haven't checked out the full tour and review, definitely go watch that. Of course, as we know, we have a turbocharged inline-six under the hood, single turbo, EQ boost, mild hybrid technology, 443 horsepower of a 9-speed gearbox here, automatic with some nice paddle shifters. All of our fun drive modes over here we can adjust up to race, even with the master race dynamics as well. There's even a rear-wheel drive, almost like drift mode you can put it in, but there's a lot of settings you actually have to do to kind of get it to do that. Love these controls over here to kind of quickly adjust all of our different parameters here, from exhaust to suspension damping and all that stuff, really easily accessible on the steering wheel here. Of course, we have our digital cluster up here, screen in the center that it moves, pretty cool. And of course, this is a convertible, so I'll put the top down, have a look at that, and let's head off and see what's so special about this CLE 53 AMG. Great camera systems as well for reversing. We have really great parking assistance systems as well, so really no issues there. Heading off, we have our gear selector on the steering wheel right here, so drive, neutral, reverse, and park is there as well. But let's head off. And this is an interesting car. As I mentioned in the full tour and review, it's a blend of the C and E class coupes of the past into now one model lineup. And it is definitely still, under the skin, more E-Class than C-Class coupe in many, many ways, even though it kind of brings in the interior design from the C-Class, as well as, I think some of the exterior design elements are very C-Class. It's still basically almost a little bit of a smaller, very, very slightly smaller E-Class coupe. So it's an interesting blend, I would say, of those two vehicles together. Now, of course, this is the Cabriolet. Thankfully, we have hard buttons to put the top down, and we can do so up to 37 miles per hour. So as you can see, we're going at speed now. The top is going down. It does take a little bit of time. It's around 20 seconds to operate, but I do like that you can do it up to 37 miles per hour, and it is a really nice experience in here to do so. It's still holding it, it's doing its little thing, and there we go. And we'll put up our air cap system here, which has a little wind deflector on the roof and behind us as well to kind of reduce the wind buffeting in the interior. And of course, we have our Mercedes air scarf system here, giving us a nice stream of very, very hot air on our necks, heated seats as well. But yeah, this is a really cool car. It's very, very comfortable. When we're driving around now in comfort mode over here, the suspension is just fantastic. It soaks up all the bumps, and even for an AMG, it's still very, very comfortable. And you know, there's multiple flavors of CLE coupe and Cabriolet you can get from the 4 cylinders. You can even get the 450 with this engine just basically deboosted a little bit and a little less aggressive. But this is, as of right now, the most aggressive version. Hopefully we'll see a 63 come soon. But it's interesting, as there's not much competition left anymore. The Audi A5 convertible and Cabriolet are gone. So is even the A3. It's really just this and the BMW 4 Series that are left in this class. And that vehicle is arguably a lot cheaper than this car. I would say in some cases it's actually much more sporty than even this AMG model is. But you know, this being a CLE, blending that C and E class together, it is still, at the end of the day, a little more E-Class. It's more comfort focused, it's more luxury focused. Even the interior elements and stuff, it feels a little more luxurious, a lot more features, more softer, more comfortable. But it has that ability though to actually be a little more aggressive. You can press this exhaust button, open up the exhaust valves, we can turn it into Sport Plus or race mode, and it does tighten everything up a lot. So we'll have a little bit of a taste of that right now. We'll even put it into one of the cool Super Sport gauges we have on here. We have rear wheel steering on this car as well. It really wakes up when you put it into Sport Plus and race modes, that is for sure. But again, it's still soft. The suspension damping definitely gets stiffer in Sport Plus dampers, but it's still has a softed, rounded edges around it, I would say. Really aggressive downshifts here. I really like that. Brakes are incredibly strong. We have 6 piston calipers up front on these AMG performance brakes, so definitely impressive braking performance here. And this transmission, I have to say, shifts are pretty quick actually. They're pretty responsive even with the paddles. We can even lock it in manual mode as well, so I can press this button. I can also do it from the steering wheel here, and it'll be locked in a manual mode setting. So that's a really nice feature as well in this CLE 53. And this car has another flip side ability to it. So It also has the benefit of being able to be a very comfortable, calm cruiser as well. So you can actually put it into a reduced engine mode as we have right now. And since it has this 48-volt mild hybrid system, it can literally just shut the engine off and coast. So I'm gonna let my foot off the gas now. And look at that, we have a little sailboat icon. The car is just coasting along now with the engine off, and that's going to help you to get a little bit more enhanced fuel economy than otherwise. It's still not the best. You're going to probably see around 26, 27 mpg on the highway, which, you know, is okay, nothing crazy, but for all this performance, I think it's a pretty good number in this vehicle. And like I mentioned, it has that ability to really have that performance capability, as well as being this nice, comfortable day-to-day weekend cruiser with the top-down, quiet interior. Now, steering is definitely interesting on this car. So we do have rear axle steering. So there's just 2.5 degrees of rear axle steering on this car, so it's nothing too aggressive, but definitely does make steering inputs a little twitchy. You can see how the car kind of wiggles along. So when you're kind of going in a corner, turning in, you do have to be a little bit more mindful of that rear axle steering on the car, because it might kind of turn a little bit more than you expect. And it's definitely a heavily boosted engine as well. You can really hear that turbo when you're on it in the Sport Plus modes, which I think is really cool. And the exhaust actually has a really nice resonance and sound to it. It's not all pumped in fake audio as we've seen in a lot of other vehicles on these days. Even some AMG vehicles like a GLA 35 or even the new GLC as well, but this has a real nice inline six exhaust sound to it, so I do really appreciate they kept that here in this new CLE. Turn in is good, but it's still, like I said, a little bit heavier, a little bit bigger, and a little bit more comfort focused than its closest competitor, something like a BMW M440 Coupe. And you also have to look at this car in terms of price. This one, as configured, is $95,000. Yes, it is the Cabriolet, but you can get a M4 Cabriolet at this point, and that is just a whole nother world of performance compared to even to this vehicle. So it's a little difficult to compare to the only two really left competitors in this German coupe performance class. And I love the awesome Mercedes race start function. That is always fun as well. Okay guys, so out here on the highway, we do have the top up now. It's a little bit of a different experience in here. It's very, very quiet. I'm actually gonna pop it into my individual setting that I have set for reduced drive mode, and that allows this vehicle to coast on the highway. So it's literally going to shut off right now, and it's off the engine, and the car is coasting on the highway. Instantly turns back on with that 48-volt electrical system here, and of course Mercedes' crazy advanced beltless engine they've been doing recently. Out here on the highway, as I said, this is a wonderful cruiser convertible. The suspension, like I said, it has a lot more of those E-Class derived components, so it's very, very soft and comfortable. Even in its most aggressive form as an AMG vehicle, it still does a great job of being comfortable on the highway. It doesn't feel overly stiff. The bumps and everything are very well rounded out. All of the body motions are very well controlled. We do have the AMG ride control in this vehicle, so like I said, pop these dampers into Sport Plus and this car dramatically transforms. It is very stiff in Sport Plus actually. And this one does also come with the driver assistance package, which is a hefty price, but it does work. So I'm gonna actually pop open our driver assistance display here so I can give you guys a little more of an idea what's happening. Really great graphics on this, and it's again pretty simple to easy to use. I just turn on adaptive cruise control and set my speed, and voila, we are ready to go. And you know, this isn't an advanced all new system from Mercedes. They are working on very crazy stuff right now in like the S-Class and the EQS, you can see it's now doing an automatic lane change because it says the person in front of me is driving too slow. So it has that fun capability. Lots of distance control as well. And one of the most, I think, distance controls I've been able to see on some vehicles, how many adjustments you can make there. So that's really cool. But this is not a hands-free system as far as I'm concerned. There are more advanced systems obviously in the market, but Mercedes has actually had this for such a long time now. It's not even like super new tech to a lot of their vehicles. So if you're coming from, you know, like a 2019 E-Class convertible, it's going to have this exact same function pretty much, lane change assist. As always, guys, definitely go check out these cars in person if you are really considering to test one of them. And thank you again for joining us on yet another review and drive over here at Allcarnews. I'm going to shut up, let the car do some talking for a little bit, and stay tuned for more coming soon. Cheers.